This week on Generational Masterclass, we discuss the Fierce 40s. This is my decade, so I will share real life steps to level up and become the best version of yourself. There's a version of you waiting in every decade, a wiser version, a stronger version, or more rooted in who God says you are version. Today, we're mapping out the journeys of your 40s. Welcome to Queen's Quest, the show for anyone tired of waiting for things to happen and who's ready to start making them happen. Every week, we'll discuss actionable strategies to unlock your full potential and turn your ambitions into achievements, all with the spiritual foundation. The goal is to ignite the fire inside of you, to increase your passion for the journey you're on, and to breathe new life into what feels stuck. We're going to close the gap between where you are and where you would like to be. I am your host, the Queena Landry. Your future starts now. This week on Generational Masterclass, we discuss the Fierce 40s. Let's get into it. Now, this is my decade, as I said it before, so I'm going to provide you with, you know, how I handle things in different situations in different areas. So, girlfriends, grab your journals and get your pens so we can get into the T. That's transparency, evidence, and authenticity. This week's scripture is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Now, this may be a familiar scripture for some of you, and for some, maybe not. For me, this scripture rings so loud when there is a situation where I have to jump or do something that I've never done before. Why? Because basically, I use this scripture to speak louder than my fears, right? Because I have to understand that God's plan is to prosper me and not to harm me. So even though we're designed, it's evidence based, we're designed, if it's something that's unfamiliar or something we're not used to, then it's fearful. Fight, flight, or freeze type of thing. And most times we freeze because of fear. However, Jeremiah reminds us that God's plan is not to harm us, but to prosper us. It reminds us that He doesn't call those who are equipped for the battle, He equips those who He calls. So if you're called to do a thing, ladies, jump. I know it may be something out of your norm, but do it. So in your 40s, we're going to dive right down into it. Let's look at how we can approach things in our fierce 40s. So fierce, intense, boldness, or determined. And so in your 40s, when you're dealing with your health, you're determined more than ever, right? You monitor your health in your 40s more than you did in your 20s and your 30s. Last episode, I talked about how if you're lactose and you'll say, oh, I did the whole 30, my stomach and my body doesn't react well to dairy, so I'm going to watch what I eat. But you still eat the dairy. In your 40s, you recognize, okay, I'm lactose, and now I'm going to take some lactate pills to make sure I can eat the dairy, or I'm going to purchase some non dairy creamer. If you're like me, I drink coffee every day. Or are you going to purchase the non dairy ice cream? Like in your 30s, you know it. In your 40s, it's like you know it and you do better. You know what I'm saying? You see how you're adding on to that thing? Yeah. That's just how I look at it. That's my personal experience. Yours may be different. If you haven't heard, in your 40s, it's a thing called perimenopausal. It creeps in. It's like the pre-show before the show in menopause, right? And I looked at that thing and I looked at the word men, a pause. Break it down. Menopause, she causes your man to pause. And I'm not I'm not even joking. She is very uncomfortable. She being menopause. It's like a whole nother woman takes over your body. I'll call my menopause Kendra. Okay. So when Kendra enters in my body and changes things, I have the mood swings. They come from nowhere. One minute Kendra is happy. The next minute Kendra wants to cry. Like, really, like, what's going on? You don't have control over it when you hit your 40s. The perimenopausal takes over and you're trying to grasp it. I know you all have heard of the hot flashes that occur. And it's not just at night. The hot flashes can be getting dressed in the morning and bam, there comes beads of sweat. And it's on my face, right? And I told my husband, I am hot from the inside out. Like when you are sick and running a fever, but you're not sick. I mean, I can't explain it. Just Kendra, she comes in, whatever your perimenopausal, she pauses, right? My husband loves to hold me at night. And when the hot flashes kicks in, Kendra does not want to be held. And it has nothing to do with you, hubby. Man, listen, it's not you. It's her. It's not even us. It's her. Okay. She takes over and give me a second. Let me cool off. I'm telling you, men a pause. She pauses the men because she just is in a whole nother funk. It's a life of yourself. Okay. I can only ask for grace during this time because, hey, I'm learning a new version of Queena. Hello, 40s. Another thing like vitamins. I've taken vitamins pretty much in my 20s and 30s, but now in my 40s, I take prebiotics, I take probiotics, and I take postbiotics. In addition to the multivitamins and the vitamin D, vitamin C. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just adding on. You didn't know that the foundation you're going to be adding on to is intense like this, but it is. And it's welcomed because I want to do better in my 40s because guess what? I'm setting myself up for a great 50, right? I make sure I get cardio in or some type of stretches throughout the week on a regular basis. If I don't, my body will let me know. Like, hey, what's going on? I'm stiff. And your body's like, no, we need to get moving. We need to do more because we say it in our affirmation. Our body is a temple and we take care of it. It's going to let you know in your 40s. I feel like I added my energy more and you will that in your 40s. The caffeine intake, like your sugar intake. For I drink coffee 7 days a week. But if my body needs a break from it, I will fast from coffee and I'll switch to tea. Your body will let you know in your 40s, just like it will in your 30s and 20s. Don't get it twisted. But in your 40s, you start to pay attention and then actually take action to switch up and change up and actually listen to your body, like monitoring your sugar intake. In your fierce 40s, it's like, hey, we can't do all that sugar. It's not good for us. Your teeth starting to hurt, your stomach start to ache. Yeah, I'm telling you, your 40s, you're going to take heed because your body is going to like kind of require you to. When you're making decisions, you move from proving a point to people to purpose filled, proven to yourself. I let faith lead and not fear. And that's what's going to help me pick my path. And that goes back to Jeremiah 29, right? It rings so loud in my ear. Fear does not live in my decision making anymore because I'm 40. Like, guess what? The time behind me is gone. If you're looking ahead, oh, how many more decades do I have? I don't have time to live in fear. If God called me to it, again, He's going to see me through it. For instance, this podcast. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, this is a huge step for me. I was fearful in all capital letters. But in my 40s, I decided I'm just going to be fierce. Not fearful, but fierce. I'm going to do this thing. Whether I sink or swim, I'm going to do it. It's better to have tried and failed and have never tried at all. So I'm not going to go to the grave with shoulda, coulda, woulda with a podcast. I did it. I look at myself more so as a wise woman. I don't do everything right, nor have I done everything right, and I'm not going to do everything right. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect. No, not by any means. Do not take that from this topic. But there is wisdom within my 40s era that I most definitely can pass on that I have learned from my 30s and my 20s, right? In your 40s, you start to build a council, not a crowd. And that's just simply where you have an audience that's going to give you advice and guidance. That's the counsel, right? You have a few spiritual mentors that you can go to that's going to work for you in prayer. You have maybe a financial advisor. I'm just getting one this year. That's something exciting and new for me. You have a therapist, counsel, right? That maybe you had before and you just seen them here and there. Like for me, I had a grief counselor when my grandmother passed away last year. But in your 40s now, you have something that's a consistent counselor that you may go to once a month, once a week, once every other week, once a quarter, right? So you're starting to have more consistent counsel because you want wise people around you and pour into you wise counseling. So then you can mature and be better and live the best version of yourself. And you do that. And also, when you do that, then you become a mentor or a teacher because you have overflow for someone else, right? Because understanding that your overflow is someone else's breakthrough. Me personally, I love investing in younger women. For one, they are the future. And I don't mind sharing with them because I want them to be better than me. Two, I don't mind giving them the cheat code in areas where I failed at, especially areas where I succeeded at. Because again, I want them to learn quicker than I did. I want them to glow up quicker than I did. I want them to have all of the things quicker than I did. It's their own path that they choose to take, but at least they have the knowledge to know when to stop, when to move, when to pivot, when to jump. You know what I mean? So in your 40s, like investing in younger women, it's a thing and you're only giving back. And that's adding on to your legacy. Uh huh. Let's talk about legacy. Legacy goals. In your 40s, it shows up because you want to impact your family in the best way possible, or you want to become a leadership of pipeline for others, like I was talking about for the mentoring, or even pursuing philanthropy. Your mind expands further in just what's in front of you when you hit your 40s. You're trying to think of like what's going to happen again in the next 10 years, or what's going to happen when I'm no longer here. You prune commitments ruthlessly. Now, this is something that I feel like you continue to work on it every decade, but your calendar reveals your calling. Wow. What does your calendar look like, ladies, in your 40s? Mine is full of kids' events, church events, and a few community events. It's a balancing act right now for me. And I'm okay with that because my calendar reveals my calling, which right now my children is still a big part of that because they need me, but also my faith, it's a big part of me. So that reveals, right, my calling. And then also me trying to grow my community. That reveals my calling. So my calendar is true. It reveals what I'm currently called to do. Now, for your finances, you really want to maximize retirement contributions. And we kind of talked about that last time, whether you're in a job where you can do 401k, you want to maximize that if your job contribution match, like, okay, you give $1, we give 50 cents. You want to maximize that in your 40s, right? What is your tax strategy? Do you have a goal of debt free living if possible? I mean, we're talking about big girl goals now in your 40s. I love it because I mean, this conversation is inspiring me and having me think of areas like, how are you doing in that area? And finances is big because finances is going to set you up again for long term. So if it's something in your 40s you haven't done, it's okay. It's not too late. You still have time to tap in. Statistics show that most millionaires, right, they tapped in and they actually had the aha moment in their 40s. So guess what? You're not too late. You're right on time. God didn't make a mistake. Like Chris Cross, you did not miss the bus. The bus is waiting for you. So jump on it. Begin modeling wealth conversation with your family. And that's about giving, that's about saving, that's about investing. My kids just opened up a vending machine and we discussed being business partners, right? Because I need my cut. I'm your mother, but also this is business. And I want them to understand that just because someone knows you or because someone is your friend, it's still business and they still deserve their share of the business. And then we talked about what are you going to do with your money? For us in our conversation, because they are children, 10% goes to tithes off the flip, right? And then saving 10%, no questions asked. Then what you do with the rest, we can figure that out. But those are non negotiables. So start talking to your kids about that. What do they like to do? Or they like drawing or doing nails or braiding hair? Like, how can we invest into our kids in our 40s, right? When you think about your family, that's the next topic. In your 40s, if you have, kids in your 20s and they're grown now, or if you had kids in your 30s, like they're more dependent, they're driving and they don't need you as much. So, what does that look like for you in the next 10 years? And whatever stage you are. So with the family, you have again teenager years, you have aging parents, you may be dealing with blended families, or you may be entering empty nesting. But guess what? All of these requires grace and a system in your 40s. And you want to start writing that out, seeing how that looks, and actually leaning into that more so. You want to create rituals that protect connection. So you have dinners. I know for my family, we eat dinner most nights together and we'll check in. How was your day? What was your high? What was your low? Every Sunday, most definitely, we go to church together. My children are still in the age where they do what I tell them to do. You may have kids that are a little older, but you want to have those connection days again, whether it's dinners or on Sundays we go to church together or whatever day of the week. But you want to check in and just stay connected so you can know what they're doing, but also so they can know what you're up to. Because guess what? In your 40s, if you have grown children, you're living your best life and you want them to know what's going on with you as well. Let's look at careers in your 40s. You may have picked a lane. You may be in executive leadership, or you may be an expert or consultant in something. You may be a builder or an owner or an entrepreneur, or all of the above. You could be in several lanes right now until you make the ultimate switch, and that's okay, right? You have a plan. Like right now, I'm in corporate America and I'm working on entrepreneurship, and that's okay. I have several lanes that I am in, and I'm giving my all to each lane. 40s is not bad that you may be in several lanes. It's okay, and there's something else that came up to mind working on having a strategy so I can copy, paste, and repeat in some areas. At this time, you're locking down on what can do that's consistent, that I can profit from, that my family can profit from, that I can profit from mind, body, and soul. And then once you do that, it's copy, paste, repeat. And if you need to pivot, you pivot. Now, I know I tell you all to pivot and prepare. I do understand you cannot prepare for everything. I get that. However, when unexpected things happen, the blow is not so hard when you are prepared for things. The recovery is quicker when you have prepared for things. I just want that to make sense to you all because I want to set you up for success. Success. And life is going to happen always. But again, I want the blow to be softer. I want the recovery to be quicker. Why? Because I want to provide you with the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding so you can rebound quicker than I did, so you can achieve quicker than I did, so you can reach your goals and destinations at a sooner pace. That's all. So it's time to reflect. Grab your journals if you haven't already done so. We're going to write down some quick questions and we're going to jump into our affirmation. Okay. So in your 40s, we're asking, where is God asking me to sit back and where to step boldly forward? Because in your 40s, we don't have time to play. I'm gonna be all the way honest with you, girlfriends. Like when I say I'm doing a podcast, I'm trying to finish this book that my grandmother and I did last year. I'm working on a Queen's Quest journal. I mean, I'm supporting my children and their vending. I'm supporting my husband in his school and barbershop. Like, hey, step boldly, right? We don't have time for fear. In your 40s, it's fearless. So ask yourself, where is God asking me to step back and where do I need to step boldly forward? Right? You only have the present. The past is gone. The future is undetermined. You have the present. It's a gift. Take hold of it and walk boldly in it. Next question. What impact do I want my name to have? Basically, what legacy do you want to leave in your 40s? Then you start working on that, right? It's like backwards. What impact do I want my name to have? I want my name to have loyalty behind it. I want my name to have respect behind it. I want my name to have hardworking. I want my name to have giver. I want my name to have honesty, trustworthy, dependable, right? Then how does that look today? How do you show up today to then benefit your future self? That's the question you got to answer. That's what we're working towards, okay? Let's jump into this affirmation. We've been doing it every week, and I say it every day, and I hope you're doing the same. Repeat after me. Take a deep breath. I am not behind, I am in season. My decisions are aligned with my destiny. My body is a temple, and I honor it with care. My money serves my mission. My voice builds others, and my future starts now. Friends, we are evolving on purpose. If this episode blessed you, I want you to share with your girlfriends that's in the decade of the fierce 40s. Tag me in it so I can cheer them on. If you want to know my specific age in my 40s, let me know. Tap in. I will let you know. I'm not afraid to share. I want you to subscribe, rate, and leave a review so more women can find the show, okay? I will see you all next week. I am your host, the Queen of Landry, sending you peace, love, and favor.